Welcome everyone to our panel discussion. This morning we're bringing up the topic of immigration in Canada. Have you ever wondered how much of the population in Canada is immigrants? Well, in 2021, immigrants made up 23% of our population, which is pretty crazy actually. Canada predicts that immigrants will reach between 29 to 34% in 2041, which is quite an escalation. I'm Zane, your moderator, and these are our panelists, Leelynd, Kara, and Anneka. They will be representing different views on this hot topic of immigration in Canada. So let's get into it. Anneka, as a government official, what is your perspective on immigration in Canada?
Well, immigration certainly does have its positives. We as a country choose skilled immigrants who can settle, fill gaps in our labor market, and who can contribute to our economy based on their skills and language abilities. For example, the Government of Canada has a program that brings in immigrants who are from Mexico and the Caribbean who have experience in farming so that they can farm here. On a different note, we also help fund the services to help immigrants settle in their communities. But as more immigrants come in, we do have to maintain a tight immigration policy. Overall, the Canadian government sees immigration as crucial to our economic growth and a positive impact to our country.
So roughly, with that being said, how many immigrants are welcomed into Canada?
We plan to welcome 380,000 permanent residents in 2026, and we plan to maintain that target for 2027 and 2028 as well. As of this year of 2025, our target was to welcome 395,000 permanent residents as well as 673,650 temporary residents. As you can see, sometimes we have to drop our numbers down for how many immigrants we are welcoming. This is because we had to ease the pressure on housing, social services, and align population growth with the country's capacity to settle newcomers. Now, in the past 5 years, we have welcomed over 1.3 million immigrants between 2016 and 2021. And in the past 10 years, we have welcomed over 2.1 million. Some people may not agree with how many immigrants we are welcoming to our country, but we need to remember that not all these people are coming from safe countries like ours. Some are trying to escape war, poverty, and danger. Like the people from Ukraine, for example, it isn't safe for them in their country, so they are coming to Canada to try and get a better life.
All right, well, thank you very much for that information, Anneka. As a Canadian citizen, Kara, how do you think this issue has been affecting you in your country?
Well, I think I can speak for many of my fellow citizens that immigration in the last couple of years has severely changed our country for the worse. Obviously, this topic can get quite heated as everyone has a different perspective on immigration. But to me, I feel as myself that over the years we have slowly lost our Canadian culture and who we are as a country. As of 2021, our Canadian population was made up of 23% of immigrants alone. This percent corresponds with the population of over 41 million people in Canada. Another downfall is that higher amounts of immigration can end up increasing the need for houses, which drives up rent costs and purchasing prices. The more people that come into our country, the higher our housing prices go up, which affects the demand for housing, as they all need a place to live. Our labor force is another huge thing that's being taken over in our country. There are so many jobs that are being scooped up by the immigrants, leaving our Canadian citizens left with way less job opportunities. Yes, the immigrants fill the jobs that need to be filled, which is good, as it helps grow our economy slowly. But again, it leaves us citizens thriving to find a job that supports our families and everything else we need to survive. What I'm really trying to say is that, again, the more immigrants that keep coming in makes us slowly lose our Canadian culture. We are Canadians, and that is who we should be in this country.
Okay, yeah, that makes actually perfect sense. So thank you for that. On to our last panelist, Leelynd, who is an immigrant coming to Canada. Let's see what kind of information he has to share on this hot topic.
Myself and many others have come to Canada in search of work and for a better life. It hasn't been easy, and some of us had easier journeys than others, but I'm thankful for Canada and the work and safety it has provided for us as immigrants.
Do you have any stories that you can share about others and their experiences coming to Canada and their rough journeys?
Yes, I do. Samir arrived in Vancouver from Syria as a government assistant refugee. After losing his business and home in the war, he didn't speak much English, but a settlement agency helped him enroll in classes and to find a part-time job. Samir quotes, "I believe Canada saved my life. Refugees don't come to take, we come to rebuild. I hope more Canadians understand that immigration is not a threat, it's a second chance for people like me." Another story is a woman in Afghanistan shares her story, saying that coming to Canada was one of the best choices she and her family has ever made. Life in Afghanistan was extremely hard, especially for women. They did not have any freedom or rights. They couldn't get an education or even walk around freely. She and her husband decided to come to Canada to help save the future of their daughters. It was very hard for them at first. They didn't speak English and didn't know how Canada worked. But eventually, after a lot of hard work, they were able to get jobs and settle in. A moment that the lady said she will never forget was her first time she walked freely down the street. No one criticized her or threatened her, but if she was in Afghanistan, she would have been. At that moment, she realized how different life could really be. The lady quotes, "This is Canada. This is what it means to be free."
All right, thank you for sharing those powerful stories, Leelynd. It really helps us realize that there's more to the story, and you can't just take what you have for granted as a Canadian citizen because people come from third world countries and they have it rough themselves. Everyone has different views on it depending on their experiences, but in the end, we're all human and it doesn't matter what's on the outside, it matters what's on the inside. So I'm Zane, your moderator, and thank you for turning into our panel discussion this morning. We are the Maymont panelists.